a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Good tidings we bring to you and your King. Good tidings for Christmas and a Happy New Year. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Good tidings we bring to you and your King. Good tidings for Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Good morning. Ain't it grand? Yeah. Did you guys see that fog this morning?
Yes.
What fog?
Yeah. Boy. You know, you really get it when you're driving where you see that you are going into higher ground. Because, you know, all that. We were watching a football game last night, and the fog came in over the stadium. So the newscasters had to use TV in order to see the game. But on the field, it was clear as day. I love that separation feeling. You know, it's just like you get choice. Rise yourself above the fog or rise yourself above into the fog. You get choice. It's a wonderful thing. Well, Merry Christmas, and today is December 13th, in case you didn't know. It's Sunday, and you're at Unity Spiritual Center. All right, we're good? Is anybody not where they think they should be? Just stay seated anyway. You're good. You're right where you belong. So we have a couple announcements real quick. We're doing a cash collection for the next couple of weeks in relationship to our charities that we benefit, that we help benefit, whatever that word is. Yeah, contribute. And so if you'd like to help us out, just write a check and make sure you put at the bottom donations so we know how to move that money over to it. And by the way, if you have a charitable organization that you favor and you would like us to participate with them, just let someone on the board know about it so that we can do the proper vetting, because we do have a little bit of criteria to make sure that these organizations are where we really want our love offerings to go. With that, we also have a Christmas Eve service. It'll be right here, and it starts at 3:30 for some social time. I don't know about you, but you know, last couple of Sundays, Donna's had to come get me. It's time to start, Mo, and I still wanted to chat. So we'll provide a few moments for that at 3:30, and then we'll start caroling at 3:45, and then we'll start the candlelighting service at 4. It's one of those services that really bring a friend or two. You know, bring a chair, come join us. It's a very lighthearted, and yet it's very apropos for this time of year, the service that we're going to do. And we're going to do a candlelighting. It's going to be different, but it's all good, right? You know, just be here and we're good. We also are starting some classes in January into all of next year, so look at your e-newsletter. If you're not getting the e-newsletter, call the office. We'll delete your address and put you back in, and that seems to reignite our system. All right, well, let's start with an opening prayer, shall we? Although we come for fellowship and enlighten each other with our elbow hugs and our looking at each other's eyes, we're really here to connect, to have that grounded experience with God. So thank you, wonderful Spirit, for bringing us together to be in communion with each other as we have our minds and our hearts open to all that we receive in this wonderful short moment. For we are under the fog of liftment, and we're under the sun that's about to break through and warm our hearts and our day even more than already. So we allow ourselves to be grateful for this moment, to come together as a collective spiritual unit. And for this we are grateful, and so it is. Amen. Amen. So staying in this state, why don't we go into a meditation? And if you haven't already, put both feet on the ground and allow the earth to be your stable ground. allow that opportunity to feel the energy flowing from this earth. For it is vibrating, it is alive, it is moving and pulsating through us. And we open our hands to be receptive to all that awaits us this beautiful day. For no matter what has occurred prior to you being right here, this is a new moment, a moment to feel the vibration of the very earth and the world around us. Although we can't see the earth moving, but it is ever so gently circling the sun. And so we embrace this connectedness of knowing that things are moving along, that without our control, it moves smoothly. It continues to circulate as our hearts and our minds continue to circulate the love that God extends to each of us. For there is God in everything. Even the disappointments and the heartaches, it is sitting there waiting for us to be receptive to embracing this inner love that we have coming from God. Although we can't see God, we can't even explain it at times, but it is present within us. It is the light of God within us. So we allow this beingness within us to be felt and to be acknowledged. So in your own special way, give gratitude to that wonderful spirit within you that you know is a beating entity of you. So as we go into the silence, we allow ourselves to be present for that still small voice, that voice of gratitude from you, that voice of clarity from God. For the two of you walk together in this human experience. So let us just get still. So ever so gently bring yourself back to this moment of now and give gratitude for today and all that it holds. So for this we are grateful, and so it is. Amen.
I am love. I am love.
So piggybacking on last week's talk, and a little bit even on the week before, but last week was about, reaching out to folks and inviting them to have the best Christmas ever. I don't know if you made some phone calls. My people that I called were all home. So it took forever. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh my goodness gracious, I probably should have done this homework before I signed it. This was an arduous task, and I've just begun. But I've enjoyed every conversation I've had. It's just been, to spend some time with not wallowing in, but rather expressing how wonderful it all is. And then the whole process of fake news, boy, I don't know if you guys are using that, but it's just been wonderful because my imagination is a fabulous tool. And it conjugates amazing pictures of negativity. And I'm like, fake news, get out of here. Fake news, leave it alone. Delete, right? We have to be careful what we're forming in our minds' imaginations. Is it something you really want to have happen? And I don't know about you, and I think I'm a pretty positive person. Boy, I got a lot of stuff sitting in there. And it's like, stop it. Stop it right now, as Bob Newhart used to say. So I want to share with you a Bible verse that I found quite interesting, although I'm quite assured that you guys have heard this Bible verse before. So this is the verse I wanted to talk about, but I'm going to read you the whole whole section. And this is John 8:12. Then Jesus spoke to them again, saying, I am the light of the world. He who follows shall not walk in darkness, but have the light of life. You've all heard that one before, right? It's taken out it's used often. It's a good one. But this is the whole verse. Now this is the part you've heard this too, but not in connection of this thought. Chapter 8. An adulteress faces the light of the world. Got the picture? Okay. And everyone went to his own house, but Jesus went to the Mount of Olives. But early in the morning he came again into the temple, and all the people came to him, and he sat down and taught them. Then the scribes and Pharisees brought to him a woman caught in adultery, and when they had set her in the midst, they said to him, Teacher, this woman was caught in adultery, in the very act. Now Moses in the law commanded us that such should be stoned. What do you say? This they said, testing him, that they might have something of which to accuse him. But Jesus stooped down and wrote on the ground with his finger, as though he did not hear. So when they continued asking him, he raised himself up and said to them, He who is without sin among you, let you throw a stone at her first. And again he stooped down and wrote in the ground. Then those who heard it began being convicted by their conscience, went out one by one, beginning with the eldest even to the last. And Jesus was left alone, and the woman standing in the midst. When Jesus had raised himself up and saw no one but the woman, he said to her, Woman, where are those accusers of yours? Has no one condemned you? She said, No one, Lord. And Jesus said to her, Neither do I condemn you. Go and sin no more. Then Jesus spoke to them again, saying, I am the light of the world. He who follows me shall not walk in darkness, but have the light of life. Now, I don't know about you, but that whole last verse about the light, what has that got to do with anything that's going on? I don't connect the dots. And what's even more interesting, he says everybody walked away because their conscience said that they were not free of sin. He cast her away because he says, I too condemn you not. And then he starts talking to them. Well, I think he's talking to himself. And I'm thinking, no wonder nobody got it. No one was there to hear it. And it made total sense to me. And I think John just slipped it in because this looked like a good place to remind them that the light of God is what we're all about. And I had to chuckle, right? Because you also know that what you give your attention to grows, right? You got that, right? So that fake news stuff in your brain, you gotta stop it. Otherwise it becomes our norm, right? We start to entertain it. We start to feed it, right? And so in In today's daily word, I changed a couple of words. Today's daily word is about love. Great subject, right? I changed love into God. I see God and joy in the festive decorations adorning houses and neighborhoods. The most beautiful evidence of the presence of God in and through all things is the light of God. Kind of cool, huh? So, Sunday morning, I think I got it all together. I'm like, okay, I got a beginning, middle, and end. I'm good. But then I go and open Facebook. Why do I do these things? Right? Changes everything. So there it is, a gentleman's understanding of the light. And I went, yeah, there's no accidents. Everything is perfect as it should be. And I just chuckle, right? Because there it is, like, Mona, read this, you know? And so I got to read it, right? Because we're taught to follow the guidance of God, right? And I'm like, I don't want to read anything else. Read it anyway. All right, we'll read it. So this is what it says. And it's from Stephen, I don't know his name. While attending a conference, I returned to my hotel room late one evening. The overhead light outside my door was burned out, and I had difficulty finding the keyhole. When I managed to open the door, I felt around the wall for a light switch. I found a plate where a switch was once installed, but no switch. Not discouraged easily, I remembered spotting a lamp by the bed when I deposited my luggage earlier in the day. I found the bed in the dark and felt around until I found the lamp. But when I switched it on, nothing happened. Now what? Though I knew that it was dark outside my window, since the outdoor light was broken, I thought that perhaps if I opened the curtains, I might be able to see the light from the street to find another lamp. So I made my way slowly across the room to the drapes. No drawstring. Have you ever had days like that? I finally stumbled around until I found a desk lamp I could turn on, and once again my world was lighted. Physical light is important, of course, especially when you're in an unfamiliar space. But there is another kind of light that is even more vital, inner light. Inner light shines from love and compassion and faith. It illuminates and warms a world that for many people can be dark and lonely and confusing. One December, I received a letter from a reader in Mexico City who said this about the darkness around her. Yesterday, I bought a Christmas decoration. It's a plastic star, maybe 18 inches across, strung with small white and gold Christmas lights. I hung it in my living room window last night. It looked so beautiful from outside, even better than I had hoped. I live on the second floor of a 5-story government housing project, and the building where I live is tucked away where few people, not a whole lot of folks, can see my lighted star. As long as I have it plugged in, that star shines bravely and brightly out into the cold night. It shines out regardless of whether anyone is around to see it or not. And I know that everyone who does see it might be heartened by it, and it's that lovely. So ended with this conversation, I got to thinking, isn't the way we should be, shouldn't our lives in some way shine out into the cold night, regardless of whether or not anyone admires it? It's certainly nice when someone notices us and encourages or heartens us. But after all, isn't it the shining itself that is the most important thing? So I went, if this is going to be the best Christmas ever, how do we bring light into it? Now I can get into the metaphysics of the light and how it manifests within us and the God realm. Nah, we'll leave that later. What I want to talk about is Christmas lights. Christmas lights. So it doesn't matter whether you've put up a tree or not, or you have any kind of a lighted ornament of any kind in your house. Your neighbors do. So you can find Christmas lights no matter where you go. All you have to do is open your eyes to see it, right? Someone shared that they noticed a parade of carts all decorated in Christmas lights. And there's quite a few of those going on. My community's on the 22nd. I can't wait, to just drive around all the communities and see all the beautiful lights, let alone the light that we're going to have shining for all to see. Lights are important because that light within us is the objective, to recognize it, to embody it, to be a part of the recognition that that light is emanating from us. You know people in your life that have that aura around them. You're like, man, they're always so bubbly. Is that you? Could be. Maybe it is you. I play golf on Monday nights, and I never miss an opportunity to say, oh, you could do this. And they always laugh at me. This is 220 yards. Yeah? Just go ahead and hit it. Get it in. And they chuckle. So I know I have a reputation for, oh, she's that positive one. But I notice that they also, oh, you're on my team. Now, I didn't grow up like that. Oh, you're on my team. Okay. Right? Small fry. Right? But anything is possible with God, right? So why isn't a 220-yard putt possible? It absolutely is possible. That light in you radiates the unlimited possibility of God. Or do you use fake talk and talk yourself out of it? Do you look at the lights on your Christmas tree or any lighted ornament and see God? If I had it my way, I'd have a tree in every room. A Christmas tree. So I do have 2 this year, which is delightful. And in a galaxy far, far away, a friend of mine told me that when you close your eyes tightly, and then open them to see the lights, and everything else disappears but the lights. And she was so spot on. Now, the lesson wasn't about seeing the light. The lesson was about making sure that the lights were on evenly. Because when you look at the lights, you can see a gap. Remember when they didn't have pre-lit trees? You had to go around the tree and make sure everything was perfect. That it was all perfectly, exactly 3.5 inches away from each other. But I knew when you quench your eyes and you open them up and you see these brilliant, positive things flashing at you, whether it's red or green or gold or white or blue. Each one has its own light within you. If we're calling folks and wishing them the best Christmas ever, why don't we see that light in them lit? When you make your next calls, have a candle lighter with you and click it for them so that there's an outer representation of you seeing the light in them. Because isn't that how we manifest the peace that we seek? That entity within us that we so want the world to get. And so we've had this thing. These things happened in 2020. Today is a brand new day, brand new sunrise. We're not even in the hemisphere at the same place we were yesterday. Everything's different. Everything. So we have an opportunity to not do it the same way we've always done it. So I got 2 trees, and when I crunch my eyes and open them up, it's an abundance of lights. They're all over the place. I can't even count them. I don't have enough toes and fingers. It's a lot. And I see a friend in each one. I see a family member in each light. I see my neighbors. I see the guy next door that honks his horn every time we park the motorhome out front. I see the light in him too. Please get some help. I see it. Because that light is in you, and if God treats everyone equally, then we know intellectually that light is in another human being too. And the funny part is, ironic part, is that it doesn't matter whether they see their light. It's there. We get to see it for them. So when we have that fake news hitting us, where we start to demonize the world in our imagination, even that has the light in it. See, every thought is a divine idea, and that light is in that thought. You know, Unity can't stress enough the importance of getting still so that that light within you can be heard, that very voice of God, so that our guidance is with this partner we have with God within us. I have a friend that is very deeply embedded in the Roman Catholic Church. And on Facebook, she did a prayer. She asked God for these things. And I so wanted to say, and maybe you could ask God for guidance to do the right thing. And I went, below the line. Even though I think it's fabulous to say that. Pause. Pause, right? I hope you're pausing before you hit send on Facebook. Pause. The light of God is alive within you and everyone. Now, you got this up here. But part of making this the best Christmas ever is to start seeing the light in others. An active thought, an active occurrence when you look at the lights this year. See so-and-so in that blue light. See so-and-so in that green light. See so-and-so in that, everybody. Make a conscious decision to not be angry or be at aught with anybody or anything, including our political arena. Just move on. It is what it is. Whatever that is for you. But it's important that we extend this belief system of ours about that light within you to others, even if just symbolically. And if you're interested, when you talk to these folks on the phone, please do, hopefully you continue to make those calls. And I see the light of God in you. And then hit send. And mean it. It'll land in ways you never thought possible. It'll be sitting there. They'll remember it long after the conversation is ended. Now, they might call you a wackadoodle. Oh, God, that's that Unity crap. No. Don't worry about it. You're planting seeds that we have no idea how they might get fertilized. Be that light. Be that expression of not just the positivity within another human being, although please do that, but don't just say it. Feel it. Allow your emotions to go with that notion that that light of God is within them, vibrantly alive, in a perfect world, which we're striving for. Perfect is everybody knows they have the light, and they use the light. They use that light as their guidance, their partner, their way shower. So your homework. See the lights differently this year. Not just the festival occasion and how pretty that yard looks, but beyond that, go with it. Crunch your eyes a little bit, open them up and see the vibrant colors and know that the light of God is emanating from them, from everybody in your sphere of thinking. You see it for them and make it possible for yourself to feel that light so that this becomes the best Christmas ever. Godspeed. We have a mailbox as our love offering basket. Please feel free to contribute in the way that you feel comfortable. And I now turn it over to Hector and Donna for our closing song and our prayer for protection.